Walk into any Walmart in this country, and you'll find the fishing section tucked somewhere between the camping gear and the automotive supplies. Most serious anglers walk past it without stopping, because there is this assumption baked into fishing culture that if it is sitting on a shelf next to motor oil and paper towels, it probably is not worth their time. And, to be fair, some of what is on those shelves earns that skepticism. But for a handful of products, walking past without looking is actually costing you money and costing you fish. Walmart carries some gear that is genuinely solid for everyday freshwater fishing, and a few items that can hold their own in tougher situations. The problem is that nobody talks about them seriously. Because the fishing YouTube world rewards drama about $300 setups far more than it rewards honest assessments of what is sitting on an end cap between the ice bags and the live bait cooler. So, that is what we are doing today. 12 pieces of Walmart fishing gear that actually deserve more credit than they get. Subscribe before we get into it. This channel is about honest fishing advice without the sales pitch, and this video is a good example of what that looks like. I'm Jerry Davis, and I've spent enough time around boats, tackle shops, and fishing gear to know when anglers are paying for performance and when they're paying for a logo. I've also seen plenty of fishermen walk right past practical, reliable gear because the name on it was not impressive enough. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which Walmart products are worth putting in your cart, which ones have limits you need to understand before you buy, and which ones have been quietly catching fish for anglers who are smart enough not to care what the tackle shop crowd thinks. Let's get into it. The first one is the one that gets dismissed the most: the Ugly Stik GX2 combo. I know some of you just rolled your eyes, and I get it. The GX2 has been on Walmart shelves long enough that it gets lumped in with beginner throwaway gear. That is not an accurate label. The blank is a graphite and fiberglass composite, which means it trades some sensitivity for durability and forgiveness. The clear tip design is not a gimmick. It adds responsiveness to the tip without making it brittle. The reel is not going to win any smoothness competitions at higher price points, but it handles basic freshwater drag without failing. And the whole combo comes with a 10-year warranty from Ugly Stik. Anglers who have fished these setups for years consistently describe the GX2 as the rod they keep grabbing because it simply does not quit. For crankbaits, spinners, and basic jigging applications targeting bass, walleye, panfish, and trout, this combo earns its reputation. Where it falls short is on finesse presentations. If you are throwing small, soft plastics and trying to feel every subtle difference at the bottom, you are going to want a more sensitive graphite rod. But for casual freshwater use across a wide range of techniques, the GX2 is one of the better decisions you can make at Walmart's price range. Now let's talk about the Zebco 33 spincast reel. This one gets written off as a kid's setup by anglers who have never thought about it seriously. And that is a genuine mistake. The Zebco 33 has a real track record built on decades of reliability. The no-tangle design works. The drag is predictable and consistent enough for bass and panfish. The push-button cast is smooth and repeatable. For bank fishing, dock fishing, or teaching a newer angler how to work a rod without dealing with bait caster backlash, every third cast, nothing on the shelf at that price, competes with the 33. It is not designed for heavy braided line or long distance casting with large lures. But for monofilament and standard freshwater presentations, Walmart's Zebco 33 section is one of the more underrated spots in the entire fishing aisle. Some of the owner reviews on Walmart's own website include anglers who have had the same reel for 30 years. That kind of loyalty means something. Garcia is a legitimate fishing brand that sometimes shows up at Walmart at prices that make you double-check the tag. The Black Max and Red Max spinning combos have been found at Walmart for under $30. And for that price, you are getting a real manufacturer's product, not a house label. The reel has smoother operation than you expect at that price point. The drag system is more consistent than most budget combos. The rod, blank, has better action for moving baits, and the build quality overall sits above what a generic entry-level package offers. Anglers report using these setups for base, light saltwater inshore work, and general freshwater fishing. For regular saltwater use, you need to rinse the reel thoroughly after every trip to protect the internals. For freshwater use, these combos represent better value than plenty of what gets marketed aggressively online as budget fishing gear. The Shakespeare Micro Series 5'6" spinning rod gets overlooked because it looks too small and too light to be taken seriously. It is not a toy. The Light Power Graphite Composite Blank is genuinely responsive for small presentations, and the stainless steel guides hold up to normal use without the rust issues you sometimes see on bargain rods. The full cork handle is a practical touch. If you fish small streams, mountain trout water, stocked ponds, or anywhere you're presenting ultralight lures and small live bait for panfish and trout, this rod fits that role at a very fair price. The limitation is honest and obvious. Light power means you are not wrestling big bass or heavy catfish without stressing the rod. Buy it for the fishing it was designed for, and it performs well. The better move is to purchase the rod individually and pair it with a quality small spinning reel rather than relying on whatever combo it gets packaged with. On to line. And this is where a lot of anglers spend less thought than they should. Berkley Trilene XL and Berkley Trilene XT monofilament are available at essentially every Walmart in the country, and both are among the most reliable monofilament options you can find at any price. The XL is softer and more castable, which makes it the better choice for spinning reels where line memory is a problem. The XT is tougher with better abrasion resistance, which suits heavier cover fishing, catfishing, and bottom rigs, where the line is working against rock and wood. Both hold knots well. The stretch in mono absorbs shock when a fish hits hard on a light drag, which is an advantage over braid for certain presentations. The price is low enough that you can respool frequently, and that matters more than most anglers admit. Old monofilament loses strength and develops memory that hurts your casting distance and presentation. Berkeley Trilene at Walmart's price removes any excuse for fishing with line that has been sitting on the spool since the previous season. Now let's talk about the Ozark Trail hardbait kits. This is Walmart's house brand. And honesty requires saying that some Ozark Trail tackle is hit or miss, depending on the specific product. But the crankbait and mixed hardbait sets have earned consistently positive responses from anglers who pick them up expecting nothing and come home with fish on the hook. The diving crankbaits run at reasonable depths, and the finishes are realistic enough to produce in stained and moderately clear water. At under $10 for a multi-lure kit, losing one to a snag or a dock piling is not the financial event it would be if you lost a premium bait. The hooks that come installed on Ozark Trail hard baits are adequate but not exceptional. Replacing them with quality treble hooks will improve your hookup ratio meaningfully. When you swap the hardware and fish them in the right conditions, these lures consistently produce based on angler feedback and real water reviews. They are not built to the same tolerances as a $15 name brand crankbait, but they cover a wide range of freshwater bass and pike fishing situations at a price that makes experimentation easy. The Ozark Trail topwater poppers and hollow body frog lures deserve separate attention because topwater presentations are where anglers tend to spend the most on individual lures. Some premium hollow body frogs cost $12 to $15 each. The Ozark Trail versions are a fraction of that, and owner reports describe solid float, reasonable action, and durability that holds up through multiple fishing trips. For pond and lake bass fishing over grass mats and lily pads, these frogs do the basic job. The hardware is lighter than what premium frog manufacturers use, And the hook set percentage on a hollow body frog is always a function of timing and technique, rather than lure quality alone. But for casual topwater fishing in heavy cover, where losing gear to a snag is realistic, having a few Ozark Trail frogs in the box makes more sense than losing a premium lure on the first cast into the weeds. Eagle claw hooks are not glamorous. The packaging is not going to impress anyone at the boat ramp. But Eagle Claw produces a wide variety of hooks at Walmart's price range that are sharp out of the package, reliable, and available in enough sizes and styles to cover most freshwater fishing applications without visiting a specialty shop. The laser sharp line in particular holds a point well and is a legitimate choice for bass, catfish, trout, and panfish rigs. For bank fishermen and casual weekend anglers who go through hooks regularly, a $2 pack of Eagle Claw hooks that covers multiple trips is money spent correctly. Check the size and style before you buy, so you are not walking out with a hook that is too heavy for the bait or too light for the fish. But the quality at that price is honest and dependable. Berkeley PowerBait belongs on this list because it was engineered for a specific purpose, and it genuinely delivers within that purpose. Stocked trout in managed lakes and ponds have a documented tendency to respond to PowerBait's scent formula and soft texture in ways that natural bait sometimes does not match at heavily stocked locations, where fish have had consistent exposure to the product. It is not a universal fish-catching guarantee. In highly pressured clear water, some fish ignore it. In situations where natural bait is the stronger presentation, PowerBait is not necessarily the answer. But for stocked trout fishing in public ponds, reservoir inlets, and managed trout water, picking up a jar of PowerBait at Walmart on the way to the lake is the right call. It stays on the hook better than most loose soft baits. The color range lets you adjust based on conditions and what the fish seem to want that day. And the price means you can carry several colors without spending much. Let's talk about portability. Telescopic combos get a bad reputation because the cheapest versions of them fall apart quickly. But the Ghost Horn 7-foot telescopic setup and the Plus-In-O combos available at Walmart represent a step above the worst of that category. The Ghost Horn uses 30-ton graphite construction, which is noticeably better than what you typically expect at that price point. The drag capacity is solid for a compact travel setup. The included tools, like pliers and a lip gripper, add practical value for anglers who want one bag and one setup for bank fishing, kayak fishing, or backcountry trips to remote water. The main performance limitation is the gear ratio, which runs slower than most retrieves need for active reaction baits. If you primarily fish jigs, live bait, or bottom presentations, that slower ratio is not a meaningful problem. The multi-section design will not feel identical to a one-piece rod, and over time, the section connections need to be checked and tightened. But for the angler who needs a capable backup or a portable setup that travels in a bag, these combos perform well above their price. The last item on the list is the most specific, and it is not for everyone. The Catfish Pro Tournament Series Glow Rod. If you fish for catfish at night, which a large number of dedicated catfish anglers do, the sun-activated glow blank on this rod is a genuinely practical feature. You can see exactly where your rod tip is in low light without sweeping a headlamp across the water and alerting fish. The blank is a reinforced fiberglass and carbon composite built to handle heavy line and big fish, which matches the demands of serious catfishing with cut bait and large live rigs. It is a specialized tool, and that specialization is both its strength and its limitation. Buying it for daytime bass fishing or general freshwater use does not make sense. But for nighttime catfish setups at productive holes, this rod addresses a specific need that most other rods at the same price do not even acknowledge. For the angler it was designed for, it is a practical and underrated buy. Drop a comment and tell me which of these you've used and how it held up. I also want to hear what else you found at Walmart that works, because the collective experience of anglers who have actually fished these products in real conditions tells a more complete story than any single review. Here is the takeaway. Walmart's fishing aisle is not going to replace a specialty tackle shop, and it was never meant to. But 12 of those products perform well within their intended conditions, hold up for the kind of use most weekend anglers put them through, and carry price tags that let you experiment, respool frequently, and replace lost gear without it becoming a meaningful financial problem. The best gear is always the gear that fits the way you fish, survives the conditions you put it through, and does its job without creating another problem. For a wide range of freshwater fishing situations, the right Walmart product fits that description exactly. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's been walking past that Walmart fishing section without stopping. I'm Jerry Davis, and I'll catch you in the next one.